Hello everyone, Albert here and welcome back to the channel. Merry Christmas!
I don't actually know when this video is going to release.
Recently I've been seeing people make videos about the 00 gauge model collection and the story of how they got each model, and I thought yeah, I could do that because there is one way that I'm different. I've been collecting these trains steadily since I was little, which I guess wasn't that long ago, but anyway. I don't have that extensive of a collection as a lot of my money's been spent on Lego, but every piece of rolling stock holds a story. So, this is my 00 scale roster as of pre-Christmas 2024. And yes, I said 00 scale, not HO. You can call the track HO if you want, I guess that's okay, but no British model is HO scale. And the Bachmann Thomas range is definitely not too. HO gauge is the same as 00 gauge, but HO scale is smaller, and more correctly in proportion to the space between the rails. The only Bachmann Thomas character you should be calling HO is Bo. It all started sometime in 2018. Back then, I was no stranger to train sets, but they were fully plastic, cheap, and maybe with a single switch on the side, with a touch of Lego trains in there too, of course. And throughout my life I visited lots of model railway shows, but it was at one where a big change occurred. It was held at this large building in Keighley, and I actually bought something. This Mark 1 compartment coach. I have no idea why I would have wanted it, but I know it was around £20. It's an old model with a bit that I think's kind of melted, but it is where everything started. And also, that piece of flexi track back there was actually given to me at the same show. And little me thought, wow, this is so cool, even though he didn't have anything to run it on. So he decided to look on eBay and he bought his first loco. Some red Hornby Class 101 with 105 printed on its side. Sadly, it hasn't run since my brother dropped it on the ground a while back. Next, my mum found this for me on Facebook Marketplace. We won the bid and it came with quite a bit of track, way more than a standard Hornby train set. You may recognise this engine as Polly, or you may recognise it as the local freight set with a Pullman coach added. Something I should mention is that the loco is just insanely fast. I found this Flying Scotsman on eBay later on, quite cheap, because it may be the worst model of the Flying Scotsman ever produced. The detail is abysmal, maybe because it dates back to 1969, literally 9 years after the first Class 37 was introduced. Its performance is about as good as it looks. It runs so slow and is always stuttering and cutting out. When it runs, the sound it makes is concerning at best, and it smells like electrical burning all the time. I am not fond. For one of my birthdays, I visited the tiny model store in Haworth, that's moved to somewhere outside Skipton, where a couple of dogs would run around free and knock you over if you weren't careful. And don't ask me why I bought this Lima Class 50. I guess I just thought it looked cool or something. Doesn't run well, but it's loud like a real Class 50, so I asked the guy at the counter for a model of a coach that they would have pulled in real life, and he gave me a Mark 3 Intercity coach. Yippee! Cool model, but it's broken now. I had the opportunity to buy one of two shunters there too. Either the awesome looking blue one that was on sale or the new delivered item. And I chose... Wow, good job. Who in their right mind would buy a Hornby train set diesel on its own for their birthday? Nothing else has to be said about this locomotive, but that's not all I got that birthday. I was also gifted 4 vans. And I got some other stuff, but we're not talking about that in this video. Nice trucks, you know? That Christmas, I was given the well-known Santa Express Hornby train set, which I loved at the time, and now it just doesn't run! Maybe it's all the time it spent running around the dusty carpet at the bottom of the Christmas tree. The video's coming very messy. Luckily, we've got the old... I don't know what it is. Oh, is it? Oh, it's shorted out. Of course. Uh-oh, it won't work now. Here is an array of models I acquired over 2019. I've grouped them all together as I'm not sure when exactly I bought each of them. The Express Dairy Tank is actually a pretty good model, but 3 of its buffers have been broken off due to rough play, I guess. I'd say the truck with the spoilers is well made. This one might seem normal at first, but it's actually delivering to the Knapsbury Mental Hospital. I always called this one the alpaca wagon. This one's made by Dapple, and I've never thought it looked particularly good, and doesn't really work that well either. Makes for variety in a train, I guess. I used some paper and blue tack to turn this wagon into Scruffy from Thomas. Oh, I love this hopper. Maybe my best piece of rolling stock. Edged parts, wire fittings, so many separately fitted parts too, and the weathering. Oh, it looks great. Not much to say about this flatbed. It's got a George on it though. Got all that? I had a loop line directly laid onto the carpet underneath my bed before this. So one day, we got part of an old table, and much to the relief of my models, they did not have to run on the carpet anymore. And yes, that mark on was also something I got around that time. On the 2nd of December, I went to my local toy store, and with some of my birthday money, I bought... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Seriously, what was I thinking? A Coca-Cola train set? What? Well, I suppose I have to run it now. There was quite a large gap for my model railway activity after this. I guess I was just quite focused with my Lego. But eventually, I started to get back into my 00 gauge trains. My brother gifted me this wagon on my birthday, and I got this compartment coach on Christmas. During a private tour of the Howarth engine shed, we were shown the inside of 41241 Sanders, and I was given a handful of traction sand in some tinfoil. It looks quite good for realistic coal or gravel loads, but I repeatedly spill it. I even did when I was filming this video. Here, as you can see, I only have about 1/5 of it now. So, just under 2 years ago, I went to Woodbank Nursery's Garden Centre
for the Model Railway Show.
I saw this Airx 4F going for £20 and it still ran. I picked it up and now it's one of my favourite engines to run. I do have plans to modify it in the future, further than the temporary North Western Railway lettering. I love this model, but it's not completely realistic and it doesn't run that well in reverse. All forwards, and the blue tack holding a detail on doesn't look the best, does it? I acquired another alpaca wagon from Howarth. I bought this brake van from there a while later, which I'm very fond of. And sometime before Christmas 2022, I bought this Manchester Shipping Canal060 Sentinel from Hornby. And honestly, I really recommend this one if you're looking for a good quality industrial shunter that doesn't cost over £90. Quite a lot of die cast and detail can be found on this model, and despite all of its unfortunate running around the Christmas tree, it still performs incredibly well. Would recommend. I honestly can't remember where I got this towed from, but I know it wasn't that long later. Again, I really recommend this. Don't get the Bachmann one, just get this and fit a face. Lovely model. After being so impressed by the Sentinel, I decided to purchase another Hornby Railways product, the Hornby W4 Picket. I saw it on a Sam's Trains video and I thought, well, I'm having that. I did a quite bad review of it earlier this year, and you can see that on my channel if you want. I'm not going into detail, just buy it. It is great. Though I am sad to report that mine has sadly stopped performing well. I'm really not sure why, maybe because of the carpet, but now it just cuts out all the time. Remember the Howarth Model Railway store I mentioned earlier? Now, it's been a few years since they moved from Howarth to outside Skipton, but when they did, I decided to have a visit. The dogs were still there, in case you were wondering. One of them knocked over a ladder, and this is the Mark II coach that I bought. At one of the KMRC's open days, I found a Class 31 at a reasonable price. A little card inside the packaging said weathered and good runner, and I thought, well, I guess I'll buy it. Does anyone remember these two videos from my channel? And also,
I'm going to stop all your activities. I'm going to try and stop at Class 37. You messed up. I'm a criminal.
Yeah, I bought an Acura Scale Class 37. I spent £170 on it and well, it delivered. It was amazing. But I will not talk about why right now, because alas, I sold it. I just did not have a proper layout to run it on. Earlier this year, one of my grandparents' friends gave me some of their old model railway bits that they didn't want anymore. Among it is the rolling stock here, one has no wheels, one has a face, and yet another Hornby 040. It doesn't run, but please leave a comment if you know which train set this is from, I am not sure. And finally, this detailed, good quality Hornby 3-wheeler pre-grouping coach with lighting fitted. I recommend this model. I forgot to mention this coach earlier, and this brake fan's origins are unknown. If you're missing a brake fan, please tell me because I might have stolen it somehow. If you're wondering about my Bachman Toby or Hornby Gordon, then I am just borrowing them, though I hope to get Thomas models on my own eventually. And Merry Christmas, everyone. A video is coming showcasing the models I acquire over Christmas.